Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports for today's preview of the Bulls versus Stormers this weekend. It is the last weekend of, the last match of the weekend rather, and what a match it will be. I mean, it's definitely arguably the two favourites really, especially after the demolition of the Sharks at the hands of the Bulls last weekend, and the fact that Stormers managed to sort of overcome the Pumas, which is a big sign for me of a team that can go all the way. You always sort of look at teams' character and teams' ability to respond, and the Stormers showed that last week, as well as the Bulls obviously demonstrating their class. But before we get stuck into teams itself and stuff like that, please do consider subscribing. Bottom right hand corner there, smash a like as well if you enjoy this type of content, and jump in the comments and let me know what you think is going to happen. Early score predictions, all of that, comments below. Please do go get involved and let me know what you think. Yeah, so final match of the weekend, 7 o'clock at Loftus first felt. At altitude, which means the Bulls, also being at home, obviously have the home advantage, which is an advantage when it comes to having altitude and momentum as well, because the Stormers obviously went to Nelspruit, and to be fair to them, often when they travel up north, then you start to wonder a question about the fitness, and a lot of the time the sides that play in the high felt tend to last longer, manage to sort of have that big last sort of 10-minute surge. The Lions have done it on several occasions, Bulls as well, because they just train at altitude and they're fitter. And sometimes the teams on the coast struggle with that sort of altitude and stepping up when it comes there. So, yeah, so the Bulls do have that advantage. But if you look at the teams, it's fairly well balanced. Lots of Springboks in both camps, lots of experience, lots of World Cup winners in both teams. So we'll start with the Stormers, and obviously the first big change is a change in captaincy. Sia Khaleesi has been ruled out with an injury, which means Stephen Kitshoff will captain, and all Springbok front row as usual: Bongi Benami, Frans Malherbe, Salman Murat, who was very, very good last weekend, will partner JD Schikkeling, and a loose trio of Jaco Coetzee, Ernst van Rijn, and Joano Augustus. Herschel Yankees and David Vinnister will be the halfback combination. We know how exciting they can be. And I think David Vinnister just needs to keep stepping up and keep trying to sort of prove that, aside from having a lot of talent, that he has the BMT and that he can take the step up to the next level. I'm still not convinced that he's being as best utilized at fly half. I understand why people want to be fly half. I understand the need to try and get him as a fly half. I just think that an inside centre or a fullback with so much more time to counter attack, it plays to his strengths. But when you've got a guy like Warwick Gelant at fullback, you can understand why. And Herschel Yankees as well, lots of energy, but I think lots of it comes down to sort of game management, which Ivan van Zyl was doing very well last weekend. Leland Zas and Edwin van der Merwe, both very proficient last weekend. Edwin van der Merwe in particular was quite lethal. Leland Zas got himself a try. Rick Pretorius and Dan du Plessis are definitely growing as a centre pairing as the season goes by. And on the bench, going into Benny is the big name that returns. He was self-isolating, as was Kitshoff, but obviously that period has come to an end. They scrubbed against the Lions, and obviously with the whole Lions breakout, those two were forced into quarantine, but they are all good and back, so they will start. They return to the lineup. And then if we have a look at the Bulls side, not too many changes. Jacques van Rooyen, Johan Kobela, and Trevor Nyakani. Trevor Nyakani is the only change to the starting 15. And what a privilege it is to be able to bring on a World Cup winner. He might have been ruled out from a lot of the World Cup, but Springbok loose head, fantastic player, and I just hope that he can have a bit of a run, injury-free run, because when he does play, he's such a powerful player. And such a great person as well. That's always good to see that he is going well. Jason Jenkins and Ron Nokia are the two locks. Marco van Staden, Dwayne Vermeulen, and Albert Lowe will be the least trio. Nothing changes. All three of them very good. Marco van Staden got a brace last weekend. Dwayne Vermeulen's just Mr. Reliability. We'll put in his tackles. We'll put in a shift. We know what you get from him. And Albert Lowe, in particular, stood out last weekend as a very good hard worker. Ivan van Zyl, as I said, was very good with his game management last weekend. Mornay Steyn doesn't get much better than just a solid, not necessarily flair, but very good kicking game and a very good management of the game. And the wings will be Travis Ismail and Kurtley Arendse. Obviously, the experience of Ismail and the excitement of Arendse then, and Cornel Hendricks and Stemmen Gans, who scored a brace last weekend, are the two centres. David Creel remains at full-back. On the bench, some big players to look out for. Inizam Carr is back, which is obviously a big boost. Ambrosio Pierre was very good off the bench last weekend. I expect to see much the same from him. And somebody who I think needs to start standing up so highly rated, but continues to sort of just be this off the bench impact player at the Bulls. And personally, I would actually quite like to see him potentially look for a place somewhere else, because I just think that I'm a big Papier fan. The fact that he wasn't the Springboks 2 years ago, he's a very talented player, but I think he's better than just coming off the bench for the Bulls. So interesting to see there. So we're looking at the two teams. It's difficult to sort of back a winner, really. I mean, the Bulls were so good last weekend that in theory they should be the favourites, but it is such a star-studded Stormers side that if they just pitch up and play to their ability, then they should be very, very competitive. Home advantage says the Bulls should be the favourites and probably will be the favourites going in, but it's a very strong Stormers pack, and if they can lay that foundation, they've also got some exciting players in the backline. Warwick Halant will be wanting to prove a point against his old side. So some nice battles there. I think the centre battle will be very interesting. So I think you're seeing a lot of pace in the likes of Steban Kratz and Cornel Hendricks, and then a lot of skill and physicality in Duplessis and Rikus Pretorius for the Stormers. So a very interesting match. So I'd like to know in the comments what you think is going to happen in the match. Give me some score predictions. Which players are you looking forward to seeing? Which battles are you looking forward to seeing? I think the front row battle will be very interesting. Kitzel versus Trevor will be a fantastic battle. Probably one of the best moments that we're looking forward to seeing this weekend. But very exciting and very nice, hopefully a fantastic game to end the fourth weekend of Super Rugby Unlocked with. As always, please do consider subscribing. Bottom right-hand corner there. Smash the like if you enjoy this type of video. And jump in the comments and give me your score predictions. Thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you soon.